Hey Mercedes, this is Renee. How are you doing?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a while since we've talked. I don't know if you remember, we actually talked a couple years ago, right before Origins and Evolutions came out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's great. Well, it's been a hot minute then, huh?
Just a little bit. So, for anybody tuning in today, I got the pleasure, of course, talking to Mercedes Lander, uh, initially of Kitty, but you also have your own band, the White Swan.
Yep.
Very awesome. So, I mean, just to catch up a little bit, how was the How did that release end up going for the the live DVD?
It was great. We were super lucky, and we're lucky that we have as many great fans as we do, and people seem to really love the documentary and the live content that we put out afterwards, and it's just everything's been pretty awesome thus far with that. Um, the documentary got released to Amazon Prime, so um, things are definitely kind of heating up.
Yeah, that's good. Do you feel this created a like kind of revived a little bit more hunger for some more Kitty?
Yeah, oh, I definitely think so. Our social media, like the Kitty social media, is just kind of exploded in the last 2 months
Yeah,
the documentary went up on Amazon Prime.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that was a good choice to put it on there. Yeah.
yeah, which is really super exciting.
Oh yeah. But of course, what we're here to talk about today is your baby that you've been working on for a few years already, the White Swan, which
Yeah,
yeah, you got a new EP that actually just got released like last week of Nocturnal Transmission. How
yep.
has the fans' reaction been to this one so far?
So far, so good. Everybody seems to like it, and which is super exciting for me because if everybody was like, "This sucks," I'd
Yeah,
probably be pretty bummed out.
for sure.
But yeah, everything seems to be going really well. And kind of super exciting about that. We released a vinyl, and we also released it digitally, which is pretty exciting as well, right? So
Yeah,
we wanted to make sure we had a little bit of something for everyone.
yeah. Now, was there a specific reason why you chose that as the title?
It has to do with um, I guess uh, the song Nocturnal Transmission is about uh, driving in the middle of the night, like super late at night, at like 4 in the morning, and having like a really in-depth conversation with somebody. So I kind of felt like that was a good title for that song because you're receiving transmissions in the middle of the night.
Yeah. One thing that I did, just the way you describe the meaning of the song brings up just memories of how, you can wake up in the middle of the night, whether if you're driving or in the middle of the night, to where how you can have very deep conversations with another human being.
Yeah,
It's very strange. I don't know what it is about that
it's
nighttime.
probably because you're so tired that you're all of the normal like walls and stuff like that you put up, they're all gone, and you're just like, I'm dead to the world.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, did you have any reservations or hesitations to release this EP considering we can't do any touring right now?
Yes. So long story short, with that is this EP was recorded in December of 2019, and by the time we got it back and mastered and stuff like that from Sig, by the time we got it back from Siegfried, it was February, and then after February, it was just kind of like everything kind of got really crazy.
Yeah.
So we sat on it for quite a bit of time because obviously nobody really knew what was going to happen or how things were going or what was going to happen in the coming months. So we just kind of sat on it for a little bit, and then about I'd say pretty close to the end of probably the beginning of June, late April, beginning of June. I was just like, we gotta release this. So I messaged my friend Steve, who has released all of our other vinyl on his label, War Crime Recordings, and I was like, hey, you want to do another record? And he was like, yeah, I do. And I was like, okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
And him and I had a long talk about kind of what we were going to do about this, because, we didn't really know, how nobody's ever, up until this point, nobody's ever released a record in a pandemic before, so there's nothing really to go off of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right.
So we were just kind of like, let's just do a lot of video content and make sure that we release a lot of stuff, and that's kind of what we did, and so far so good. We're still in the midst of going to be releasing some other stuff here shortly, so just to kind of keep the ball rolling, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then so just lots of cool stuff.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed is, thankfully, as a fan, that musicians are still releasing music, because this kind of holds us over and just for some people, just gets us through the day, which is nice.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I know a lot of people are having a rough time right now, especially with kind of what's going on in the world, and how everything's kind of, the cookie is crumbling. It's
Yes.
the world really messed up place right now on a lot of different fronts, and it's not just coronavirus or whatever. But I feel like having it's almost, as a musician, it's almost, I feel like, my duty to continue to release things for people during this time. It's like, if I can help one person have an okay day,
Yeah.
I feel like that would be really amazing and important, and I would feel really good about that. So
Yeah. Well, thank goodness that you keep doing what you're doing. So one of the things that I read this time around, that these lyrics were kind of based a little bit around love.
mm-hmm.
Was that hard to transcribe such a grandiose feeling into music and lyrically?
I've always been super mushy, even when I've written lyrics for Kitty and stuff like that. So you can always tell when I feel like you can always tell when I write stuff opposed to when Morgan did.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of, I feel like, I've definitely got some mushy stuff going on in my life. So that's just kind of who I am as a person, and so definitely not hard by any stretch of the imagination. I tend to write from experience and kind of who I am as a person, and I write about things that I know, and that's just another one of those things that I'm into.
Yeah. Now, your current band is more doom oriented, to doom genre, which some people, well, if they're not familiar with it, was like, oh my God, that's so gloomy or whatever. But not necessarily. A lot of its stuff can be very cathartic when you listen to it. It explores feelings that people kind of tend to ignore. Now, when you started the White Swan, was this something, a genre that you already knew that you were going to go into, or this is just how the music comes out?
I'm not really even sure that we fit in with that genre 100%, because we're, I feel like we're a little weird,
Yeah.
and we sound a little bit different than, like your classic, doom bands,
Yeah.
like Stoner, those types of bands. I feel like, and I'm completely okay with not fitting in. I would prefer not to.
Yeah.
It just kind of makes things, a little weirder, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I think I just write music that, I like and that makes me feel good. And for me, that's the most important thing. And I don't really, care to fit in with anybody's, what people, their genre. I just feel like, you're putting yourself you're pigeonholing yourself if you, like, label. I just don't like labels, I guess, maybe.
Right. Well, that's nice. That way you're able to explore whatever you want to explore.
Exactly. So I can do whatever I want, and people won't be surprised.
Right.
If that makes
Oh, of course. It's not going to be, and that's, which is, I guess, in a sense, can be a two-edged sword because some people will, want a band to sound the same way every single time, and then, which, and like you said, it pigeonholes them, and they don't get to grow as musicians compared to if you do whatever you want and the fans are like it or don't like it, you get that, that extra freedom.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? In order to grow as a musician and to grow as a band, I guess, we would need to explore other things.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to exploring anything. I'm really into a lot of different stuff. So.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, for yourself, how would you feel that you've grown as a musician with this new EP compared to the previous one? Did you try to do anything different?
Um, I'm always trying new things.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of, especially, Purple was written a long time ago, but it went through many different transitions, and I feel like, so that record, Purple was, or that song rather, Purple was rewritten literally like 5 days before we went into the studio to record. So I had tend to do that to everybody. I'm like, okay, just rewrote this entire song, so have fun, bye guys, enjoy. Which I completely understand is probably not the best thing. But Kieran Shane are really great sports about it,
Yeah.
which is good. So I've kind of felt like that's like the first little bit of experimentation on that record. It's definitely a lot different than the other songs, if that makes sense.
Right.
A little more on the, I guess, it's a little bit of it's definitely not a heavy song by any means. I mean, it's heavy, but it's not that heavy. So yeah, there's a little bit of experimentation, especially with vocals and stuff like that as well. I always try new things, and the vocal layering has just become more and more crazy.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love it. I'm a big fan of, a lot of vocals and using vocals as an instrument in the background and texturizing things with vocals, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, if you haven't listened to the record yet with headphones on, I recommend it.
Oh, that's like the best way to listen to it. Turn it on loud.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not too loud.
Well,
make
yeah.
Sure your hearing's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just definitely one of those things, man.
Yeah.
It was really recording this EP was really a lot of fun for me.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Compared to going in and not being happy with the end product, that would just make it miserable.
Yeah, well, you know what, to be honest with you, I'm never 100% happy because I put a lot of pressure on myself, which I know I shouldn't. But I do put a lot of pressure on myself, and I usually hate everything while I'm doing it. So, and it usually, when I get the masters back, it usually takes me like a couple weeks for me to be okay with it.
Yeah. Now, has that been every instance with each album an EP that you've put out?
Yes, absolutely. I can remember getting back Anubis, like our first EP, and me being like, "Oh God, I hate my voice." And like, with Touch, Taste, Destroy, I was just like, "Oh, what did I do? It sounds like shit." and then I realized that I'm not as terrible of a musician and singer as I think I am, or maybe I am that terrible and people are just being nice to me.
Well,
You know.
you got to be doing something right because you have fans. You know you're you have another EP that just came out, so you got people that are buying this and are totally into this.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. And thank you to everybody that's being super nice about it.
Oh come on, I could say I enjoy the new EP. It's good stuff. I mean, if it sucked, I wouldn't be listening to it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes I get stuff in a email and they're like, "Can you review this?" And I'm like, "Oh
No.
my, no!" I'm like, "This kind of sucks." It's not my cup, and they're just like all the other bands that don't really stand out. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I'm glad that that's a thing that you don't have to deal with on a regular basis. Hopefully, you get to, review bands that you like.
oh yeah, and that's usually what I end up doing. If it's somebody that already I'm a fan or something that even based off one song that somehow gets through the algorithms onto my feed or whatever, or if something in the email and it sounds excellent, then yeah, I'll reach out to the publicist like, hey, what else do you have for this band, or is there anything coming out? Try to promote it. But yeah, I mean, same thing for, for the White Swan. I mean, I, social media is the weirdest thing to where you got to pay to play. Unfortunately. So
Yeah,
the more likes that people can generate, the more shares. It's going to be better, of course, for the band.
of course, yeah.
Yeah. Now, so with this release, one of the newest things that, or somewhat new things bands have been doing is live streams. Is there any possibility of yourself doing this?
So, I think we talked about it for a while there, and I would love to do it. It would just be a case of us finding an appropriate place to do the live stream, um, and kind of work around it. I think what we had talked about putting together something with some other bands as well. So that might be something at some point to kind of put together, but it's hard because a lot of those bands that are doing live streams have like somewhere to do it, and
Yeah.
we really don't, unless we went and like rented out like one of the venues here in town. So yeah, I'm sure we'll eventually get to that.
Yeah. And it's also a
But
big risk though too, because say you do have to get a venue, and pay everybody that's helping you get this done. It's a big risk, money wise.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Are you still living? I guess in London is or have you moved from there?
No, still here. But I don't know. I'll probably be in the general area for a while. I don't plan on living in the city much longer.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely okay with living in the country. And it's the nice thing is we're surrounded by it.
Yeah.
This general area. I don't. Are you familiar? Where are you from?
Oh, I'm in Texas, South Texas, Corpus Christi.
So you are not familiar.
No.
If it makes any sense, it's my general area is like the closest other big city is like an hour away.
Mhm.
So there's London, and then like we're surrounded, but like everything's like an hour away. So we're basically surrounded by like farms and like really cool places, and I really just don't want to live in the city anymore.
Yeah.
So
I completely understand that. Like as I've gotten older, I'm like I want to move from here. I want to get away from everything and everybody.
whereabouts you? Like in Texas?
Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
I feel like one time we played that one place in Corpus Christi that we normally played at, the outdoor. It was kind of like an outdoor-indoor venue.
Concrete Street, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And our sound guy melted the PA.
Oh
Like
no.
Yeah, it was like in like actually like parts of it caught on fire and melted. Yeah, so that's my Corpus Christi memory.
Yeah. Very nice. I'm sure they remember that. They're like, don't get them back. They just burn everything down.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I completely understand. I just want to move away to the country a little bit. Something's smaller. I'm already looking at when I retire. Okay, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just kind of it's definitely time, man.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with the quarantine.
Everybody has the same like feeling like when you get older. It's just if you do it or not, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta do it. It's more peaceful that way too.
Oh yeah, and I think my big thing is that I just want a lot of animals.
Oh yeah. So how many animals do you have now?
I have 5 cats right now, but I want more.
Just cats?
No, like
Okay.
I think I want some goats and some other maybe some pigs and stuff if my husband will let me.
Yeah. Well, it's like you just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's probably what's gonna happen. I'll come home with them.
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. See, there you go. You
Yeah.
are correct, sir.
Yes, I already know that. So how else, being a musician, I mean, you're always trying to be creative. How else besides, right now promoting the music, how do you keep yourself busy besides your 5 cats?
I work at a software company, and before all of this craziness happened, I was teaching a lot of yoga and spin classes in my spare time, which I did not have a whole lot of, but I'm not really teaching a whole lot now because of obvious reasons.
Right.
I think gyms are open here, but I don't know how much longer they're going to be open for. So, we'll just see. I'm only teaching like twice a week. So, now, on top of my 40-hour week job. So, it's just one of those things, right? You gotta try and keep busy as much as possible, and it's really nice to have some extra time to be able to like just sit down and fiddle around on a guitar or whatever.
Yeah, and no pressure, no deadlines unless you set your own deadlines.
Yeah, and I realize that yes, I am very hard on myself when it comes to a lot of things, but I don't think I would ever give myself a crazy deadline or anything like that.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah. But I haven't yet.
Yeah, good, very good. So, we're almost towards the end of our interview. Other than, of course, if for some reason they haven't picked up Nocturnal Transmission on vinyl or digital, how else can fans support the band right now?
The best way to support any band at this point, now normally I would say go to a live show.
Yes.
But that's not a thing. The best thing that you can do is purchase directly from the band. So, the best, usually, I would say Bandcamp is probably the most direct way to purchase from us. Just because that's connected directly to us. And Steve, Warcrime, he's selling the vinyl, we sell the digital. So that's a really nice way to kind of contribute to us, making another record at some point. And every once in a while we have merch up for sale and stuff. We did a short run of 20 like really super limited edition baseball tees, and so I'm about to ship those out, but those sold out in a couple days. And, that paid for our last video that we shot.
Yeah.
And other than that, I mean, just if you want, you can stream the White Swan on all of the platforms that you would normally, Spotify, Apple Music, anything like that. Um, and yeah, just tell all your friends how cool we are.
Hell yeah. Open that Spotify and just put it on constant play.
Yeah, there you go. Like, I can hear the 0.0000002.
I know. That's so ridiculous. Oh my gosh. That is so upsetting to know. I think it was just, I don't know if it had just been finally leaked, but some of the information had gone out of how much an artist gets paid from the different services, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, streaming. Woo!
Yes.
I guess we'll just kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll change. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, either way, of course, as long as you got the fans supporting you, that's and we'll try to do our part to support y'all and get everybody else to do it too.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Sure. So, concluding our interview, is there any, besides everything that we talked about, anything else you would like to promote or any parting words?
No, I feel like, well, I'm always going to have words. I feel like I talk a lot. But I just thank you to everyone that has supported White Swan or, supported music in general, especially during this time where, things are not really, very sure. They're not a sure bet right now. So we promise to continue to put music out as long as you support us, and hopefully that supports you in a way that makes you feel good, and in turn, your support supports us to make more music.
Heck yes, got to do it. It's for me. It's just a part of life. I mean, just as a musician for yourself, that's just part of you, who you are, and part of your life.
Yeah, 100%.
Very cool. Well, Mercedes, again, thank you so much for your time, and have a great weekend.
Hey, you too. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, thanks. Take care.
Yes.
Bye.